Hi, this is Annette coming at you. So yeah, I'm back again. I'm hungry, and it's just about 5 o'clock. I've been fighting off the struggle bus. What do you call that? Um, Hunger. So I'm going to eat some vegetable broth or drink some vegetable broth, and then I have some mushroom broth. So let's see the stats on this one. This is sodium 460, carbohydrate 0, sugar 0, protein 2, calorie 5. Well, that's not a lot of calories. Uh, so, yeah, and so just gonna put some in here, and then I'll drink that because warm liquids is good, right? Because I'm freezing to death. Why am I freezing to death? Well, probably my metabolism is tanking, and but my inflammation is going down. My legs, the inflammation in my legs feel really good. So we'll see how long that I could do this for, right? Going into the refrigerator gives me issues. And the thing about it is that inflammation, I know that is determined by your CRP, and let me put it right here, and is determined on your homocysteine levels. Well, last time I had my homocysteine levels checked was in 2000, in the middle of my shitstorm when I had lymphedema, and my homocysteine levels were triple digits. Yeah, triple digits. So my doctor never said anything about that. But through my research, I found out what a high homocysteine level and a high CRP indicates, right? Inflammation in your body. Inflammation is the root of all diseases, right? Depending upon what doctor you listen to. Now, I read Dr. Estelin's book, Caldwell Estelin, about heart disease and his research. I read a lot of books. I mean, gosh, I read Dr. Bernard's book on diabetes. I read Dr. How Not to Die. I bought his book, Dr. Greger. I read the what do you call that? The 7 country studies. I read got the manuscript on, what was that? The starvation experiment by, was it Ansel Keys? Yeah, so I've done a lot of research in my time. And there's this big controversy between, the carnivore raw diet. What's the best diet? The raw diet, the low carb diet, the high fat diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet. There is no one specific diet. It depends upon you, your DNA, your genetics, where you live makes a difference. If you lived in Alaska and you didn't eat protein, some kind of protein, you survived on plants, you wouldn't live very long. If you lived in the outback and you had to, well, if you lived by the grocery store in Alaska, but rural Alaska, like I watched the 20 below zero Alaska on the Arctic Circle. Those people have a hard life because they don't sit behind a computer screen and munch on bonbons. If they have to hunt for their food. They have to grow their own food because there's no grocery stores around. So we're lucky, We live in an industrial society where we have grocery stores, we have fast food, we have all this stuff, right? We don't have to go out and cook and hunt for our food or grow our own food. And, I did an organic garden last year in my development. I spent just about $300 or $400 and spent just about every weekend out there. Um, the voles ate all my vegetables, or the bugs ate all my vegetables. I thought I was going to have a great season. I thought I was going to chow down on some vegetables and some all kinds. I planted 4 different types of tomatoes, 3 different types of eggplant. I planted everything, and I spent about $400. I brought in all kinds of different soil. I had planted all different. And it was organic, of course, non-GMO. They weren't any. They weren't those. What do you call those plants? Hybrid plants. They were either heirloom or they were organic, but mostly organic heirloom seeds. And I only got about 6 wormy tomatoes, and my investment, not counting time, through the whole summer long, sweat bullets. I mean, this finger right here, I got this finger right here was permanently stuck. I got what you call trigger finger, and this was stuck in this position, and it wouldn't move. As a matter of fact, I could move this finger, but these were all like crippled up in like a claw hand. You know, I have some kind of nerve damage, because if you see that right there, aha, that is a big old gash, right? You want to hear the story on that one? Yeah. Well, it was 2014, and I was doing the 70.3 Ironman, and I was just about on mile 10, and I trained like 6 months, 8 months for this Ironman. I had a triathlon bike, trained twice a day. I did brick workouts on the weekend. I trained so hard. I was a mean, lean fight machine. And I have a YouTube video on. No, not on that one. I didn't make a video, but Eagle Man in Maryland, I did. But yeah, New Jersey 70.3 Ironman. I didn't make a video on that one. But I think maybe I did. I forget. Anyway, I on mile 10. And I practice a lot. I practiced transitioning. I practiced, all those things that you have to do, because, you do your swim you have to do a mile for 70.3. You go 70.3 miles. So it's a 1.5 mile swim, depending upon the water territory. And you have to do that within 60 minutes, okay? Because if you don't, they'll disqualify you. Then after that, you get in transition and you get on your bike, and you ride 56 more miles. Well, what happened to me on mile 10, I really don't know what happened. And it was hot. I think it was June or whatever. And my adrenaline's like going like, crazy and stuff like that. And I went to get a hydration from one of the, what do you call them, volunteers. So I come zooming by. Well, I call zooming by. Maybe you didn't think I'd come zooming by, but I think my top speed was about 20, well, depending upon going down a hill, like 24 miles an hour or something like that, because I have a time trial triathlon bike, so it has $1,500 wheels. And it's a trek, but, I was at my lightest, because we all know if you're a light cyclist, you can go really fast, but, I'm not saying I'm a fast cyclist either. So I was going on mile 10 and I went for the grab for the hydration, and I lost control of my bike. All I remember is I flew over the handlebars and I went bam! And I went right down on my elbow. This one, because I have like those, see those bony elbows? Yeah, I got elbows like weapons. Yeah, I got elbows like weapons. So luckily I didn't fall on my head because I probably would have been dead. I had a helmet on, of course. But I went bam, and I fell on my elbow, and I said, "Oh crap," And I tried to break my fall, so I wouldn't either bash my teeth out or hit my head or something like that. So I fell on my elbow, and then I think I rolled over and fell on my hip or something like that. Um, and so naturally, I started crying. Um, and so then some, people started running over. Well, actually, I fell over in front of everybody, because I fell in front of the people that were in the line to get the hydration to the racers, right? So it wasn't no, everybody came running, and that my elbow started dripping blood. But I know there's not any like arteries or major things in the elbow, so I knew I wasn't going to bleed to death. And I had spent a lot of money and a lot of time training for this Ironman, right? So I was sure damn not going to go to no hospital. So what they did was, I said, so they said we got to send it for the medics. So I had to wait for the ambulance to come, and the medics came, and I just told them point blank, absolutely not. You're not taking me on the bus. I'm not getting off this course. You can wrap me up, and I'm going to be on my way, brother. So that's what they did. So, in the meantime, my adrenaline, if you could have probably on a scale of 1 to 10, my adrenaline was probably a 9. But of course, me crying and stuff, it knocked it down. But actually, they wrapped me up, and what I did is I went on several different types of, adrenaline rushes, and I would stop at the hydrations and then the medics, because they do have medics on the course, and they would rewrap my arm, my elbow, because the blood would seep through. I needed 11 stitches, but I wasn't about to get off the course. I had paid, I don't know, like $500, and then all the gear that I paid, my wheels and my wetsuit and all the training and all this and all that. I had a lot of time invested in that race, and there was no way that I wasn't going to get my medal. So actually, it probably right after that, right after I fell and I got back on the bike and I maintained my composure, I actually, people look at me and say, what? You had an out-of-body experience? Yeah, I had an out-of-body experience. I was flying on the top of my bike, like on the top of me, like, like looking down, and I ran my fastest with my arm all bleeding and everything, and I ran my fastest half marathon that I ever ran in my life. And so you have to complete, by Ironman standards, you have to complete the 70.3 within 8 hours. 8 hours. And actually the full marathon, full Ironman, you have to complete it within the stroke of midnight for 24 hours. You have to complete it. I think it's 24 hours. Yeah, but you get midnight that night. So they usually start out at like 6 o'clock in the morning, depending upon the Ironman 140 race. And so I managed to get my medal. And I think I completed the race within 7.5 hours on the course. And like I said, that was my fastest half marathon, because I'm not a very fast cyclist, and I'm not a very fast runner because of my weight. Now, if I weighed 90 pounds, I would be a fast runner, but I'm not. I'm not. And I did train, you know what I mean? And I do know all the techniques on how to be a fast cyclist, but I got body weight, right? But I enjoyed the experience, and I just love triathlon. Um, if I could, if I could just get lean and mean, I could be a really good athlete, uh, mature athlete, age grouper. I mean, if you want to look at some age group athletes, you could look at the Iron Nun. She is a real nun. She's done many. As a matter of fact, she was on Nike commercial for triathlons. She's a real Catholic nun. She started training for Ironman or triathlons so she could bicycle to church. And then it turned into races, and then it turned into triathlons. But she started it, I think, like in her mid 50s. And I think when she was 82, because we had our Olympics is called the Kona out in Hawaii. That's like if you get to go to Kona, you've you've got to the Olympics of triathlon. Because Kona, Hawaii is the ultima is the ultimate race, right? Um, so yeah, and then there's Lou Hollander. He is Iron Lou, and he's 80 some. He was invited to the all paid to the Bahrain, I think, an Ironman. The Prince of Saudi Arabia invited him too. He got all paid to his race out in Saudi Arabia. Because triathlons all over the world, depending upon what country you're from. And yeah, he got invited by the Prince of Saudi Arabia or one of those Arab countries, either Bahrain or one of those Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or whatever, the Prince of somebody. Hi, hi. And he has his own race out there, so you can check it out. Lou Hollander, and his name is Iron Lou. So yeah, so age really doesn't have a factor in it. It has to do with your athletic conditioning, your tenacity for training, and your physical conditioning, such as if you're a Clydesdale and you're a guy, you're not going to be very fast. And if you're Athena for a woman, that's what we call people with high BMIs, you're not going to be very fast. So now I have lymphedema, so I don't even know if I'm ever going to be able to race again without injuring myself even further, or possibly killing myself. So anyway, I've rattled on. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.